Hey, everybody, this is Jeff Policio from Allied Insight, and this is From the Grove. So, look, there's been a lot of conversations that we've been having with our clients and also externally around how are you going to trigger more behavioral engagement. And so it's definitely gotten a bit harder, and that's you should know, right? It's obviously environmental situations have changed things, but also some demographic elements are starting to shift, which is definitely changing the narrative and changing how it is that we need to behave and interact in order to get people to respond to your messaging. With that said, I've got three things that your team can start working on immediately that will be useful to your communities and be seen as valuable, as well as start you into conversations that'll be more meaningful. A number one, if you're a staffing firm, salary guide, salary guide, salary guide. If you're doing them, you know why you're doing them, and that's good. But if you haven't done them, many times when we talk to people, they'll typically say, well, we don't do them because there's already so many in the marketplace. And here's the tip: there are, but none of them are yours, right? So it's all about what the predictive layout is for the future. And you have people that trust you in your community. You've got clients, you've got candidates, you have individuals that are relying on you and your information. So if you're not providing this insight to them, they're getting it somewhere else. Not good for your brand. Okay. So if you haven't done a salary guide before, I would definitely look into it, and we will do a piece on salary guides in the future. Second thing that you could do is to provide some sort of like an interactive engagement offer. Now, we are coming up at end of year, so I'm going to use something like an annual planning assessment, something that allows you to curate a bit of what their concepts are, what they're planning on doing, so that you can review those elements and then provide them insight and feedback as to the areas that you think they're going to perform well and some of the areas that you think they're going to have some risk or some trouble or difficulty. This brings you into a conversation a bit further up the funnel as well, kind of like a salary guide, but it shows you as an authority and as a partner and as a contributor to the community, right? So providing some sort of like an annual planning type of program or type of offer would in fact get you into conversations that should be able to lend down toward obviously net new business in the future. The last thing I'm going to share with you is a bit further up the funnel, but we need to start thinking about how we're going to be providing long-term engagement for our communities. So right now, we tend to do a lot of things based off of like, I don't know, certain trigger points, downloads, conversions, things like that. But if there's a way that your organization can start to organize a workshop of some sort that would basically roll out either quarterly. I mean, monthly would be great, but if you were able to do a workshop on a quarterly basis where there was a program to it, maybe there's some sort of seasonal element to it where like certain workshops throughout the year talk about specific priorities, but something that provides real interactive type of engagement with your community. Now, you could limit obviously the number of seats into it in order to create some supply and demand. But the idea would be to, in essence, start working through your community with very highly engaging type of offers that nurture them a bit more on a very direct basis. And we used to talk about nurturing as far as like database nurturing and sending emails and distributions, and that those drip campaigns would eventually lead to business. And the problem is those just are not converting the way that they used to. So we'll get into some different segments with regards to emails, and we'll get into some segments with regards to automation and creating high motivation, high touch environments. But for right now, when you're thinking about trying to create offers that your community will consume and that it will benefit both you and them, the top three would be salary guides, some sort of an assessment, and then I would then move into providing some sort of regular cadence on a workshop. Get your community involved with your brand, and it won't do you wrong. Hope this is helpful. Stay tuned. We're going to have some more stuff from the Grove. Have a good one.